Hey, everybody, and happy Day of the Dead. As promised, it's finally time to tell you some of my ghost stories. I'm just going to start with a few of them, just like the two or three from when I was like 5 or 6. These are the first of many. They've got lots of crazy stories, but these are the first ones. Let's start with the dumbest one. When I was a kid, we were hanging out at my grandparents' house, and they lived out in the country, and they had this hill in their front yard, and we would do like barrel rolls down this hill, and we called the game. It was like a game, we called it. We were playing Jack and Jill, 'cause Jack and Jill went up the hill and then fell down the hill, and we do barrel rolls down the hill. So as we're doing the barrel rolls down the hill, as I'm like rolling down the hill, I'm kind of like looking horizontally up towards the house, and I saw like standing there plain as day, like a purple Native American man, just like completely purple, which is odd because usually, like, whenever I've seen ghosts before, it's always been either full color or like a weird shadow figure or something like that. But this one was like just purple. So that was the weird one. And as soon as I saw it, like I got up and freaked out, ran in the house, and everybody ran in with me. It was like a big old deal. But secondly, that was probably the third ghost I ever saw. The first ghost I ever saw when I was a child was used to live on the street, and it was kind of like a undeveloped suburban neighborhood, and like it was like they were planning on building a big little suburb there. Now it's completely developed, but there was only a couple of houses on the street at the time, and the house that we lived in had been there for quite some time already. But like every night, I'd get woken up by this little boy, and he was sitting in the corner of the room and crying. And I think at one point or another, he had told me something about how like his dad had poisoned him, but he would always just sit in the corner and cry. Oh, daddy gave me something bad, or daddy fed me something bad, and he would just sit in the corner and cry. And I'd always freak out and run to my parents' room, and then eventually, no, my mother uh, was kind of a part of this like little psychic group of like people, and they all came in and like basically talked this child into the next world. Um, so I never saw it after that. After they did that, but it was like forever. Like this child would always appear in the corner of my room, and I'd just be sitting in the corner crying. Uh, and then the other one from that time, I was in kindergarten and I was riding the school bus, and we just happened to be driving by there was a wreck that had happened, like probably like seconds before or like a minute before, and as we're driving by, all the kids are like, oh, freaking out, yelling, and everybody's looking out the window at this car wreck, and you can see the car wreck. This man, he was a bald man, and his head was smashed all the way down to his ear into the windshield. And this is back when cars, they were a little bit sturdier, like windshields are sturdier, like a little less give. But I mean, of course, the windshield was all spider webbed, but you could visibly see that his bald head had smashed all the way down to his ears, and um, right there, standing next to the car, looking down at it, was this man who was a bald man, and he was staring down at the guy in the car in an accent. But it was weird because he was like in the middle of the lane, so it's like here's the school bus driving by, and then here's the accident, because we're going opposite ways. So the accident was going one way, and the school bus was going the other way. And he's standing in the middle of the road on the driver's side, looking in at the guy with the smashed ears or smashed head down to his ears. And as we're driving by, he's looking down at the accident, and then he looks up at me. And at that time, I kind of noticed that it's like the guy's wearing the same shirt that the guy in the car is wearing, and he's a bald man. He looks at me in the school bus as we're going by, makes eye contact, and then completely vanishes. And yeah, and that's all. That's all I saw. And then, of course, the school bus kept on going by because can't just sit there for the wreck and school bus full of kids. But yeah, so those are my first three ghost experiences in my life, and I have plenty more coming up. So stay tuned for those. I might save some for Halloween next year, but I might tell you a couple more in the next couple of days. So yeah, so stay tuned. Talk to you later.